Right, so I bought the viral projector for £35, but is it any good? Let's take a look. Right, so that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's crack on. Right, so this is called the magcubic, and they're selling a lot of these on TikTok, and in 1 month alone, I think they sold something like 50 or 100,000 of them. And it does look very much like a Samsung knockoff. Now, inside the box, we get the projector itself, and on the bottom as well, it comes on like a stand you can adjust. And then we also get the power cable, which can be quite restricting because it's only about 1 meter long. And then we also get the remote, which it's a basic remote, but what do we expect for £35? And you might also notice it's got a built-in air mouse as well. On the back, we've got a power button, HDMI, a headphone jack, a USB port, and then the power. And then on the bottom, we've also got a screw thread for if you want to mount it on a tripod or a bracket or something like that. Now, when turning the projector on, it's using just a basic launcher. You can customize it a little bit by adding apps to the home screen if you'd like. Personally, not a massive fan of these launchers, but once again, price plays a massive part in it. There is an app store on the home screen as well, but I'm not sure which app store this is, but there's quite a few apps in there you can install. Aptoid TV is one of them, which is another app store which we've covered previously, and that's got loads of apps inside it. Inside settings, we get all the basic features. Inside other settings, there was only 2 options until I enabled developer options. Once I did that, I got the developer options and also advanced settings. Now, this is where I could go into device preferences and change the picture quality, so the brightness, the contrast, and all that sort of stuff. You've also got projection settings where you've got screen zoom, so if you need to make the screen smaller for any reason, you can do that there. You've got projection mode where if you need to turn the projector upside down for any reason or rotate it. And then you've also got keystone correction. It does say you can change this to automatic, but on projectors like this, I don't mind using the manual option, and it is very easy to use. So this is obviously a 720p projector. You're not going to get HD or 4K on it. So what's the picture quality like? Now, if we open up YouTube on the projector itself, what I will say is the picture quality is not bad at all. And you've always got to come back to the price of it. You don't expect it to be out of this world for £35. One thing I will say though is when I was editing the video, the camera I was using, it does make the picture appear a bit brighter. But I was trying loads of different content on it, just loads of different kinds of video. And like I say, the picture quality wasn't bad at all. Now, although we're saying it's not bad, it's also not great. One of the big things I noticed was the colours. They seemed quite dull, and in some instances, they weren't actually the same colours as what you'd expect to see. Such as on this side by side, you can see on one projector it appears brighter, and it's also showing as like a pink. Whereas on this projector, you can see the colours duller. It's appearing as a red. So that's a good example when it comes to the colours. Also, when I was watching YouTube, I got the dreaded buffering circle, which is enough to annoy anybody. Now, this pretty much crashed the projector altogether. I had to restart it. Now, I turned the projector back on, went into the same video, and did notice inside settings and picture quality, it was trying to show 4K rather than 720p. After changing it back to 720p, the playback was absolutely fine, but YouTube didn't recognise that. So if you have issues with it, that could be the reason why. Now, I could easily watch a movie on this, but another downfall with it is probably the speaker. It's not very loud. I'm going to play a little video clip here now.
May very well mean the difference between life and death.
So there I've got the mic about 6 inches away from the projector, and you can notice the speaker isn't great. And then here's another clip of me sat about 6 or 8 foot away with the volume on 100. What's also a negative with this is if you plug in an external speaker, there are a lot of people having audio sync issues, meaning there's a bit of a delay on the audio, which it's not great, is it? But all in all, a lot of that is to be expected. It's £35. Now, something I'd probably recommend you do if you got one of these projectors is plugins such as like a Fire Stick, which you can do just by plugging it into the HDMI port, but the USB port isn't powerful enough to power the Fire Stick, so you do have to plug that in as well. The fan noise, it's not very quiet. But it's also £35. It's hard to get away from that price point, isn't it? The remote's quite clicky if this is something that annoys you. There's the built-in air mouse feature on the remote. And then here's me adjusting the focus slider on the top. And like I said, I'm projecting this screen at 75 inch and I just went and stood next to it to give you some kind of reference. So that's the viral £35 magcubic projector from TikTok. There's a few pros to it. It's also got its cons as well. So is it worth getting? You will have to be the judge of that. The price is something that's always going to work in its favour. Even when full price, you can get it for under £50. It's got an adjustable stand, which can be useful. It's small, that's what she said. And it's also not bad quality for the price. I did expect a lot worse. But it has got its negatives as well. The 1 metre power cable can make it very restrictive. So you're going to have to make sure it's near a socket at all times or get a longer power cable. The fan noise, it is quite loud. It did crash a few times where it just bugged out, and that's why I'd always recommend plugging in such as like a Fire Stick. But then you've also got the audio sync issues if you do plug in an external speaker or device. And what I also noticed is when projecting an image, although I got it to focus in the center, if text was round the edge, it did appear a little bit blurry. And then it is quite dim and the colours aren't all that accurate. And if you are somebody that isn't too critical of how a picture looks, so you just want to use it every now and again, and you're going to be in a dark room because if the room's bright you're not going to be able to see it, then you can't really grumble for the price. But yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da!